Welcome to Lesson 4 of this US CPA Accounting Fundamentals series. In today's lesson, we're going to learn one of the more important foundations in all of accounting, the accounting equation and the double-entry accounting system. These concepts affect every journal entry, every financial statement, and every CPA exam question. Once you understand this lesson, you can understand almost every transaction in accounting. Course objectives. Here are today's learning objectives. 1. Understand the accounting equation. 2. Learn the expanded equation and the retained earnings. 3. Master the debit and credit rules. 4. Apply the double entry system. 5. Analyze basic transaction. This is essential knowledge for both US CPA candidates and anyone working in accounting. The most fundamental rule in accounting is the accounting equation. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. This equation must always be in balance. Every financial statement is built from this formula. Assets are what the company owns. Liabilities are what the company owes. Equity represents the owner's claim on the business. If one side changes, the other side must also change. What are assets? Assets are resources owned by the business that will bring future economic benefit. Common examples include cash, accounts receivable, inventory, equipment, buildings, land. Assets usually increase with a debit. What are liabilities? Liabilities are obligations the business must pay in the future. For example, include accounts payable, notes payable, salary payable, accrued expense. Liabilities increase with a credit. What is equity? Equity represents the owner's interest in the business. Equity is made up of common stock, retained earnings. Equity normally increases with the credit. Expanded accounting equation. Let's expand the equation to include the effects of business operations. Assets equal liabilities plus common stock plus retained earnings. And the retained earnings follow this formula. Retained earnings equal revenues minus expenses minus dividends. This explains why revenue increase equity, expense decrease equity. Dividends decrease equity. Revenue expense impact. Revenue increase retained earnings and therefore increase equity. Expenses reduce retained earnings, so they decrease equity. That's why income statement results flow into retained earnings on the balance sheet. Double-entry accounting. Accounting uses a double-entry system. Every transaction affects at least two accounts. And the basic rule is total debits equal total credits. If debits and credit don't match, the entry is wrong. Debit and credit rules. Here are the rules you need to memorize. Debit increase assets, expense, dividends. Credit increase liability, equity, revenue. This rule works for every journal entry. A powerful CPA memory trick is dealer. D-E-A. Debit increase expense, assets, dividends. LER. Credit increase liability, equity, revenues. If you remember dealer, you'll never forget debit credit rules. T account visual. Here's a T account. Left side is debit. Right side is credit. We use T account to visualize how transactions affect the accounts. Example transaction 1. Let's look at our first example. Owner invests 10,000 cash into business. Cash increase debit. Common stock increase credit. Journal entry. Debit cash 10,000. Credit common stock 10,000. Let's keep the equation in balance. Example transaction 2. Business buys 5,000 equipment with cash. Equipment increase debit. Cash decrease credit. Journal entry. Debit equipment 5,000. Credit cash 5,000. Example transaction 3. Business receives 800 revenue in cash. cash increase, debit. Revenue increase, credit. Journal entry, debit cash 800, credit revenue 800. Example transaction 4. Business pay 300 rent expense. Rent expense increase, debit. Cash decrease, credit. Journal entry, debit rent expense 300, credit cash 300. Transaction analysis workflow. When analyzing a transaction, follow these 4 steps. First, identify which accounts are affected. 2. Determine account type. 3. Apply debit credit rules. 4. Confirm debit equal credits. This workflow works for every CPA exam equation. Mini practice question. Let's test your understanding. Paying electricity bill increase which account? 2. Receiving cash from a customer affects which account? 3. Borrow money from the bank increase what? Try answer before moving to next lesson. Summary. Today we learned the accounting equation, expanded retained earnings, debit and credit rules, how double entry works, how to record basic transactions. If you master Lesson 4, you will build the foundation for the entire CPA exam.